All right, so what is up, YouTube? Hopefully, everybody's having a profitable trading day. I know I definitely did. Now, still looking at the stock that I did go ahead and sell. It's still moving higher, but we're going to go ahead and break down how I was able to find that stock. So, let me go ahead and get my screen sharing here. It's definitely a quick step here. If you're familiar with Yahoo Finance, go ahead and check Yahoo Finance, but we're going to go with the top losers. So, when you see the top losers, we see XBIT at the top of the list. Now, what we want to do before the market opens, we want to have a scan going. So what I mean by scan is, let me see if I can share the screen with my desktop here. Um, okay, so when we go ahead and scan these stocks, we want to make sure that we're putting them in. We want to put it on a 5-day level. Depends on how long you plan on holding these, the stocks. But for right now, we're looking to definitely just day trade them. So let's go ahead and put in XBIT. Let's see how that stacks up on the oversold level. Definitely oversold, as we see right here. But the only problem for me when I did trade it, I bought shares at 10.05. It dipped below $10. I really wasn't worried about that. Now that the technicals shown that the stock was going to roar higher, we see the chalk and oscillator showing us that buyers are actually stepping in here. The stock is down over 40%, so that implies that you have a huge upside. If this thing just moves up $1, you're definitely making 10%, or the stock moves up 10% on the trade. So this is definitely a bullish trade that is setting up. You definitely have time to buy it right here. If you are watching this video, I'm not sure if the spreads are still wide because this is a 15-minute delayed data here. So when we think about trading, like I said, we want to run through our scanners. We want to check and see if they're oversold. If they're oversold, that's a check. That's a check. Chalk and oscillator showing that buyers have left the area. That's another check. And we want to buy when the chalk and oscillator is actually making a curve, so a dip type pattern. So that way we know that buyers are actually coming in to go ahead and say, okay, we're done. Let's go ahead, bid the stock back up. But in order for us to feel bullish on a trade, we must make sure that the stock does trade with a lot of volume. Because if the RSI is reading us a stock that doesn't trade on much volume, how accurate could it be? So we want to switch the stocks that are trading with huge volume, or volume that is morning, bro. We want to trade stocks that are definitely I would say more active than others, than those other penny stocks. We see the spread right here about 22 cents. So like I really wanted to go ahead and sell when I seen prices hit 1040, because the daily moving average showed us that 1052 was definitely the top for this stock. Now, when the stock does get close to the daily moving average on a 5-day view, this is typically when the stock does give out. So let me go ahead and show you exactly what I mean. You see the daily moving average act as resistance here every single time the stock does get close. Now, if we can get buyers to go ahead and break through this RSI, and we see an RSI of 40, that's when we might see a breakout, and that's when we know that there are buyers in here, and that's when this thing could go to $11. But I wanted to go ahead, make this video for you guys just in case you're looking for something to trade. This is definitely one stock, but the spread is definitely too wide. We want to make sure that we're looking at our RSI, chalk and oscillator to definitely let us know, if it's okay for us to, step into the water and go ahead and buy. Now we see the daily moving average is 1052. Now, what we need to know about the daily moving average is that it can act as resistance and support depending on where the stock sits at. So since the stock is below the daily moving average or below that line, you know that the sellers are in charge. And the sellers have been in charge for a while now. As you see, the stock cannot break above that daily moving average. So if the stock does break above the daily moving average, that is a technical breakout, because the stock is moving above the daily moving average rather than moving off these support and resistance levels that everybody talks about. If you can know where the stock is relative to the daily moving average, we can know if the stock is going to break out or not. So if we see a stock get close to the daily moving average, we kind of want to be skeptical of that. And as you see, like I said, it's a 15-minute delay. We see what happened when it got close to 1050, definitely topped out. And as you see right here, if you bought right here, you'd be buying at 1045, and if you wanted to sell, you only be selling at 1029. So those are definitely spreads that you must watch out for, and we must understand when we do trade stocks that trade with huge spreads. So like I said, whenever we see Yahoo Finance top losers. We want to put them into our system. You know what I mean by system is our software for trading, and we want to plot them in with the RSI, chalk and oscillator, daily moving average, and we also want to pay attention to the volume because the volume is key to reading where a stock can go, especially if you're depending heavily on the daily, or not a daily moving average, but on the RSI and the chalk and oscillator. So those are just two keys that we want to pay attention to whenever we trade stocks that are down or stocks that are up, right? So I took a loss right here with Visa. Visa just showed that, it was definitely getting sold off. Okay, now we see it right here. Visa was definitely getting sold off right here, and I definitely dumped it and let my, I let my winners run. And that's typically what you have to do here. Whenever you have a losing trade, you want to go ahead and sell your losers and let your winners run. And that's typically how you have a winning strategy. So even though the stock was oversold, it was imposing on my gains for my other stock. So I went ahead and dumped the stock. But now as we see, Visa is definitely gaining back some momentum here. And I might look for Visa for a long-term play, but I won't touch it right here. Typically because, let me go ahead and show you, the buyers are definitely off the chart right here. So we see all-time high has been met, and been set. So we want to wait until the stock does come down before we go ahead and touch that, or before we go ahead and invest in it. So you're good. Just follow me on Instagram, Mike the Day Trader, and definitely DM me on that if you want, personal mentorship on the on trading and investing. I do help a lot of people out when they do want to place their first trade. I am a person to ask on that, so that way, when you do place your first trade, you definitely won't be taking a loss on the trade. So the market, like I said, the video I made last night was the French election definitely is playing a big role on the markets, and this is why the markets are red, because people are worried that we might have the same, result as we did in the U.S. So that's all I have for you guys. Also, if you're using TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, definitely talk to the customer service reps because they are definitely more credible, and they, this is this is the company that they work for. So don't ask people how to look for things when you can definitely call up your broker and they'll show you exactly how to work the system for free. So we want to utilize all the things that we have in touch, so that way we'll profit. So anytime you ask somebody how to work this, how to work that, definitely call your broker and see if he can help you, simply because this is their job. Their job is to help you execute trades and make sure that you're being well educated on the stock market. So if you have any problems with your broker, you definitely want to call them, not call a random person off of the street, simply because that person does not hold credibility when it comes to placing buy and sell orders for a brokerage firm. So let's check this out. XBIT, I see it's moving back up to 1047. If you want to do a long-term trade, this might be a long-term trade for you. We see what happened when the stock did take a dip at 858, ran back up to about $10 or $11 here. And if you're thinking about going ahead and investing in the stock, go ahead. This might be a swing trade for you, but as you see, the stock is heavily oversold, and this might be your dip buying opportunity. Usually stocks on dips, they only last for about 1 to 2 days, and after the third day, that's typically when the stock will fall. Let's check out Barracuda Networks. I know I did go ahead and dump that. As we see, Barracuda Networks is still oversold, heavily oversold. Might be looking to get in a position somewhere around here. I really want to trade this thing because technicals are telling me that the stock is oversold. So we see that it broke we broke a 1950 handle, and that's typically critical for a trade that you want to hold a 1950 handle, because we can do 50-cent increments, and they'll typically let us know, $1, $1.50, $2. So 1950, $20. Now we see it didn't hold $20, so it came back down to 1950. It couldn't hold 1950, and now it's below 1950 at 1940. So this stock might close at $19 today. Not really sure, but we're going to keep watching it throughout the day and see what happens to the stock, because this is definitely a bottom bounce that you want to be behind when the market does take off and rally. But yesterday, the market did rally, and this is the one that, it did not participate in the market rally. So we want to be aware of all the stocks that do move when the market does rally, so that way we'll be set up to profit on the trades. So this is definitely a stock that you want to take a look at. If you have a long-term view on it, if you want to swing trade it, you definitely buy shares at any price right here. And, I would say hold it for about 2 weeks or so, and you should be good. But as we see right here, I plot the support and resistance level right there. We see $19, 1902 is definitely that support level right there for the stock. And if it can't hold 1902, the stock goes lower to 18. And whenever the stock does find a bottom, it will go back up. Let's see. We see what happens when the stock became oversold. Right here, it continues to rally. We see what happens when the stock became right here oversold, rally, oversold, rally. So just about we're almost oversold at this level on a 3-year view. But if you look at it from a 1-year view, we're definitely oversold, and we're looking to hit support at some level. 1902 support. We broke 1950. Like I said, 50-cent increments will definitely help you out when you want to place trades like this, and you want to look for key levels. So that's definitely one way you can go ahead and look at the trade. Let me see here. Also, we want to pay attention to the video game stocks. Like I said, the video game stocks are definitely rallying. We see 62.12. Like I said, once we're able to pierce through resistance, is going to be followed with a large green bar. Or if we pierce through support, it's going to be followed with a large red bar. So anytime support is definitely pierced or resistance is pierced, is followed with a large rectangular bar. And this type of charting is called a candlestick chart, right? So if you aren't familiar with candlestick charting, definitely do some research on that. But definitely just follow me on Instagram, Mike the Day Trader, and DM me there, so that way I'll understand what you mean by this live mentorship. Excuse me. So definitely DM me there if you have any questions on this mentorship. But like I said, we want to pay attention to the stocks that are rallying, and we want to put them in our watch list. So like I said, we look right here, top loss for the NASDAQ. This is another way you can look for stocks that are hitting lows and just find a way to profit on the trade. So like I said, we see XBIT. XBIT became oversold at $9.80. That would have been your okay to go ahead and buy snag up shares right then and there when it became oversold, because that was the biggest it became oversold. And what I mean by that's the hugest became oversold, we see the chalk and oscillator hit super low right here. So it lets us know that the sellers completely left the area, and once 980 was the last bid price, stock ran back up and never seen $9.80 again. And now we're the buyers are stepping back in the area. We're at 1040 right here, negative 46 for the chalk and oscillator. So let's let us know that buyers are picking up in the area. So let's check out some more stocks. 80MP. We see what this means. We don't necessarily have to watch the RSI all the time. We can see the chalk and oscillator is definitely pointing us a good picture right here. But buyers left the area right here. As we see, that's exactly where the low hit of 352, and we see a bounce hit. We see a bounce happen right there. So like I said, the RSI is not all the time. The RSI won't be accurate all the time, but we want to pay attention to other indicators that can definitely hold credibility. So okay, right here, boom, CRHM definitely oversold at these levels. Let me see if I can execute a live trade right here. I only need like a couple of cents right here. CHRM. But hold on, before I actually trade this, let's diagnose the volume on the stock. We see that the stock is moving very, very choppy right here. So it lets us know that the stock is not heavily traded. The stock does not move much on volume. And as we see here, the volume from the stock, we see oversold right here, and the stock has become heavily oversold again at 838. So let's go ahead and time out on this trade, and let's look at another one. We see this one is definitely I would say there are sellers in the area, but just not enough to go ahead and look at it and say, okay, we want to buy right here. Let's check out some more. ONTX. You can see sellers left the area and buyers did jump back up. Yeah, I actually do teach individuals. Let's see. We can also look at the top winners, and we can see when the top winners became oversold, and that's another way to profit on stocks that that see heavy volume. So let's see car. We see this definitely. All right, so like I said, the daily moving average can act as support and resistance, and we see support right here. We see support right here, and that's typically another indicator that we can use when we want to buy these stocks. We see the chalk and oscillator showing us that the stock is definitely going to go higher here. So, like I said, the RSI does not paint a perfect picture all the time. So we want to fall back on other indicators that can actually help us out. So the daily moving average, chalk and oscillator, RSI, they all can be inconsistent at some point in time, but we want to learn about other indicators that can definitely be spot on whenever a stock is looking really good for us to buy or looking really good for us to sell. So these definitely can be off. All three of these indicators can definitely be off on days, but we want to make sure that the stock is trading with heavy volume before we make any decisions to buy the stock. So I know there's a new IPO. Let's see if it did IPO. Okay, so I'm guessing it didn't IPO. So it was an IPO today. I'm not sure if it was listed. Okay. Wells Fargo. No. Not sure what the symbol was, but it definitely was an IPO today. So let's go ahead and check out another. Let's see, Delt. Like I said, follow me on Instagram, DM me on there, so that way I'll know who you are. Just Mike the Day Trader, the same as my YouTube name, so that way I'll know. So as we see right here, chalk and oscillator showing that sellers have left the area, but the RSI is showing us that buyers are still heavily in the area. So which one do we trust? Do we trust the daily moving average at the same time? There's a lot of things that you have to play into account when you do trade stocks, and you typically have to go with your go-to or your gut instinct when you do trade these stocks. Like I said, when I did say gut instinct, we want to make sure that we're using plays or tools that are definitely consistent at all times. And as we see, the RSI is holding consistent. We see stocks hitting highs right here, and we see the chalk and oscillator showing that sellers are definitely still dumping stock. So let's see NPTN. The market is definitely, the market might be down the whole day because of the weekend. So let's see, this stock right here definitely is spiking up. We see 782 at the top, 883 the bottom. Let's zoom in even more. 837 will be the low for this stock for it to become resistance. We see support right here at this level right there, and we might see support right here. But if we do see the daily moving average move up, I would say any higher, this is definitely the test to see if the stock will break down. If the stock does break below the daily moving average, a lot of traders will look at this and say, okay, the stock is done here. Let's go ahead and take our profits and be done for the day. But a lot of people do watch daily moving average. A lot of people do watch RSI. A lot of people do watch chalk and oscillator. A lot of people, there's technicals for everything when you think about it. Like I said, add study. You see all studies right here, alphabetical order. We see there's a lot of things a lot of people favor different studies when they do trade stocks. And there's a lot of studies that you can favor. So, you pretty much choose what you're good at and pick that rather than choosing what somebody has pushed you to been choosing the whole time. So definitely be comfortable with all these indicators that we do use, so that way we'll know how to profit on the trade. So let's check out AUPH. We see daily moving average is 762. It's trading at a premium of 779. We definitely don't want to touch that because the risk and reward is so low like I said, the risk and reward is so low. We don't know where the stock is going. We see PFPT. We see the chalk and oscillator and the RSI working a tangent here, and typically because you have heavy volume. This is what I mean by heavy volume. We see the stock became close to oversold right here, and we see a double bottom on the buyers right there, and that was definitely a buying sign for you to jump into the stock. And as we see right here, like I said, daily move average plays as resistance and support. We see what happens when things pierce through support and resistance. It's followed by large bars, and we see a large bar right here. And typically for this to break out, we might see a gap up or we might see a large bar breaking out. But if this does act as resistance, the stock definitely gets hit back down. And we can look at this as well and say that, this is some type of resistance here. So the resistance is 77.39. Stock trades at 76.71. This might be at a discount to you if you were to go ahead and buy. But that's typically how traders look at stocks. They look at it relative to the daily moving average, relative to the RSI, and relative to other indicators that they do use. Because not a lot of traders do use one screen. Majority of traders do use more than multiple screens when they do trade stocks. But those are people that are working with bigger capitals. So let me see AR. Okay. So as we see, we're just definitely going through the list of stocks to see exactly, where the buying opportunity is. And like I said, it is a 15-minute delay, so it won't be accurate. As me looking at the price right now. But this is definitely, things that we must pay attention to, so that way we'll know how to profit. So we do top 10 gain, NASDAQ, top 10 losers, New York Stock Exchange. I mean, this Thinkorswim platform definitely breaks down every single thing that you need, right? Because a lot of brokers, Robinhood for one, it charges or it doesn't charge anything to place a buy and sell order, right? So typically you trade off, customer service, and you trade off the software that the company should have. So amateurs really do use Robinhood, but professional traders are the ones that are putting in those commission costs and that are making actual money on the trades, because a lot of people think that, penny stocks are the way to go and things like that. But typically the big money traders are the ones shorting the penny stocks rather than buying them. So those are the people that are actually putting pressure on the penny stock to go lower, because they see it, they see a way to profit on a lot of people that that are buying the stock, because they're being misled and being misled. And that's typically all it takes for a stock to be a pump and dump, run up a couple of days, the big money buyers see it and they completely just short that down while you're thinking that the stock will go up. But no, they're big money coming in and they're definitely shorting that stock. So as we see here, let's go through our portfolio one more time. I closed my position out in the XLF. We see the market strength is definitely a little weak today. $1,200. We see the SPU definitely moving higher for us. This is definitely what I want to show you guys investing in penny stocks. We see that we're 1 for 3 on investing or aren't investing for penny stocks. We see we're good on this one. We see that the stock is definitely moving against us on today, or for the whole position. Yeah, this is the whole position. So we see what happens when we invest in penny stocks. We're good for this one, bad for that one. But as you see, we're up for the day, so that lets us know that we're down even bigger than that. And Lululemon, we're producing over $120 in profits. We're still getting close to that 54 handle. We see Sub-Zero penny stock that was promoted. We still see it stagnant, hasn't moved yet. We see Ford definitely still moving up to the upside, $11.35. Even though the market is weak, the stock is down just $11 or 11 cents. Barracuda Networks, like I said, this is a stock that might move down to $19 even, and we might see that support get tested again, and that typically might be a double bottom pattern that might form, and it might be a bullish sign for the traders to go ahead and jump in and actually buy stocks. So we see Chesapeake. I'm still bullish on oil and gas. Like I said, oil and gas moves with a cycle, and you have to know where that cycle is for you to go ahead and profit. Berkshire Hathaway, definitely a long-term play, so we will sell, or we might look to sell when it definitely breaks above that 175 level, but it definitely does take time. So now that you guys know how to profit on trades or how to scan trades, go ahead, start scanning your own trades. Never count on anybody's, picks to go ahead and, fill your head. If you're looking for, pharmaceutical companies, I know pharmaceutical companies are definitely the biggest gainers. They all can be found right here. I mean, you can go to pre-market winners. Let me see, lovers and losers. We go to pre-market movers, and as we see, we can just sort the price out, and we can definitely look for some penny stocks right here. We see stocks are trading under $5, and we definitely can trade those. So there's no excuses for why you haven't been looking up your own stocks or following other people's stock picks. We want to do our own research. We want to understand how the stock market works on our own. rather than having somebody else, spoon feed the information to us, rather than, us actually experiencing those gains, because it'll always keep us coming back, for that person to actually keep teaching us rather than us prospering on our trading career. So, with that being said, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I will be back Sunday. If anything were to happen with the election, I definitely will make a video Sunday, and we'll definitely talk about the implications. But if the election goes as expected, the market should rally higher, and we will see stocks move higher on Monday. But if it doesn't go as expected, we will see a huge sell-off, and that's all I have. So take care. Make sure you're doing your homework. Make sure you're reading, and make sure you're paying attention or keeping up with current events, domestic and abroad. So take care.